Get back to the dance in a bit, but let's go Lakers Bucks last night, where practically none of the stars that you wanted to see were playing. Giannis was there, but no LeBron, no Luka, no Austin Reeves, and no Dame Lillard. There's Giannis in the lane. Bucks a 20-point lead in this game in the second quarter. We're still in the first half here. It's Ryan Rollins throwing it up. It's Giannis throwing it down. Bucks by 16. Late second, I'll tell you who did have a good night, Monica, was Bronny James.
Aye. Look at this. Look what we have here. The young man finding his way as a professional. What did he finish with, Greeny? 17?
Yeah, he had 8 in the first half. Lakers were down 11. Now here's more from Bronny. He would finish with a career high 17 in 30 minutes last night, but it wasn't enough. Giannis, 28 points, 7 boards, 4 assists. Bucks get an easy win. Lakers finishing up a brutal stretch of 6 games in 8 days. Some of them were rescheduled because of the horrible fires that there had been in L.A. So in the Western Conference standings, which are, as you see, just like a razor-thin margin, the Lakers are now 4th. They're 2.5 games out of second. There's a good chance they would either have to play Golden State or the Nuggets in round 1. But Stephen A. yesterday on First Take said there's only one team they should fear.
If you're the Los Angeles Lakers this particular year, there's no one outside of Oklahoma that you should feel concerned about. If LeBron and Doncic is healthy in the lineup together with a Rui Hachimura back and you're fully loaded, I think the only team the Lakers have to worry about is OKC.
All right, Bobby Marks with us. Jay Will looks stunned. You look nonplussed when he was saying that. Do you agree with that, Monica?
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree. I think the Thunder are the only team that doesn't have to be worried about the West. We literally just looked at the standings,
right.
Greeny. There's a game, a half a game, a game. It's tight. It's tight. I do not feel confident that the Lakers are going to run away from anybody. I don't feel confident that the Warriors are going to run away from anybody. The only team that I think is rational to have confidence in the West is the Thunder. So I disagree with him.
Bobby, how about you? How do you view it right now in the jam-packed West as far as the teams that have the best chance to be standing at the very end?
Yeah, I think there's Oklahoma City on tier 1, and I think there's everyone else. And I would even go this further with the Lakers here. Greeny, I think there's 7 teams when you look at the Lakers, and you can go all the way to the Clippers in Minnesota, that can see themselves in a Western Conference Finals. I think you can make an argument for all 7 teams. But as we've said before, if the Lakers finish 4th or 5th, they're not getting past Oklahoma City in round 2 here. So I do think it's wide open. I don't think it's Oklahoma City, then the Lakers, and then everyone else. I do think they're bunched up there with Denver and certainly Memphis and Houston in that group.
You actually made the comment in our meeting this morning. Who is it you think, if someone's going to beat the Thunder in the playoffs in the West this year, which team did you tell me you thought had the best chance?
Yeah, this is going to surprise you because they're in 8th place right now. It's Minnesota.
I knew you were going to say that, Bobby.
Minnesota, and I know they've stubbed their toe the last 2 games. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They got to get out of that play-in, that 7-8 range. But here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at their schedule. They've got the easiest schedule of Western Conference playoff teams here. So if they can get to 6 or even at 7, I think they can get to a Western Conference Finals.
You agree with that?
I'm not going to say biggest, but I completely understand this logic, and I think we are not talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves enough. Last year, the whole thing was, oh, they're young, they don't have experience. And Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns had the moment at the podium where Ant was like, dang, how much experience do we need?
Right.
They got very valuable experience last year. They have the personnel in terms of the height and the athleticism. They're interesting.
The entire West is going to be jam-packed. We'll keep a close eye on it. Everybody stay where you are. Bobby, stay where you are. Monica, his bag early.
He started this off right, Greeny, on the good foot, as they say. 21 first quarter points. He ultimately finished the ball game with 31, but it just looked way too easy for him.
The 21, and look at the range, Jay Will, his highest scoring quarter as a Laker.
I mean, yeah, like Monica said, 21 points in the first quarter. He just gets to his bag so easily. I mean, I don't know what better defense you can play than that right there.
Right, and then he can pull up from here. There's not
handout, man.
Take Steph out of the conversation. I'm not sure how many people have more range than Luka Doncic does. Anyway, he just had it going early, and then look at him counting. He's having fun, and it continues here. Lakers up 23 points as he continues again. He had 31 last. Look at that.
One-legged.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous. He had 31 last night, and you know who else is playing really well for the Lakers, Monica, is Austin Reeves.
Yeah, he's rolling as of late. And this young man, you got to give him credit because he's had to reinvent himself a couple of different times this season as the roster has changed, but he's playing with tremendous confidence. His 5th consecutive 20-point game.
You know, Jay Will, it was Chene who was in here the other day. She said, what do you call a player who's not a role player and who's not an all-star, somewhere in between, you call him Austin Reeves, because that's what this guy is, right?
I mean, look, if he were on other teams, he would be putting up bigger numbers. I mean, the guy came into this averaging 30 points in his last 4 or 5 games.
He had 22 last night, but the story is Luka. He may have gotten off to a bit of a slow start when he got to LA. Remember, he had the calf and everything. Well, now in the last 10 games, he's become the second player in Laker history, people, to average 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists in a 10-game span. The only other one to do it is LeBron James. Lakers now a game behind the second seed in the West. There was all this conversation about whether they would be able to tread water while LeBron was hurt, and would they fall back into the play-in, and for whatever it's worth, they keep winning. And I wanted to keep D. Wood in the conversation here for just a moment because he is our resident Laker fan. If I were to ask you to describe, D. Wood, how many children do you have? 7. If I would ask you to describe your emotions for Luka Doncic, how would you describe them?
He is my 8. He is my 8. He is officially a Woody. Like, there's nothing I wouldn't do for Luka Doncic. He's, man, like, I'm still, like, even to this day, I still can't believe we have Luka Doncic. I like, in all honesty, a 25-year-old superstar, and you just trade him, like, just out of nowhere. You just trade like you. They just called you. They called me. They was like, hey, D. Wood, you want Luka Doncic? Hell yeah, I want Luka Doncic. Like, it's just crazy.
Can we just talk about, and I know we watch a lot of NBA games.
Right.
The dude had 31 and did not play 1 minute in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah. Right, and think about, you keep saying treading water. I don't think he's thinking about treading water. I think he's in attack mode.
And that's why the Lakers are in a position where they get to rest LeBron James. You look at the rest of this March. Let's not go full season. March. They got 2 more home games, Milwaukee, Chicago. They got 4 in a row. Memphis is in there, and then they got Houston back in LA. To me, if Luka Doncic is going to give you this, now granted, the Nuggets sat their 2 the best players. But if he's going to give you this, then you have the opportunity to let LeBron James come back to the postseason as fresh as possible.
Look, the key is staying out of the play-in for all these teams in the West. Golden State is hovering down there at 6. For what it's worth, if the season ended today, Lakers-Warriors would be a first-round matchup. You would get LeBron versus Steph right off the bat, which, let's not even get into that because there's so many different things will change between now and then. But the point, D. Wood, I'll come to you again as a Laker fan, is I don't even know exactly what you're rooting for in all this. You just got to stay out of the play-in and then let the matchups fall as the matchups fall. I think everyone feels that they want to stay away from OKC, and based on what we've seen from Denver in the past, maybe they feel like the next team to beat. But the Lakers feel as though they are, if LeBron comes back fully healthy, they feel like they could be right there with anybody.
That's the way I feel. I think, as much as we talk about Luka Doncic and LeBron James, I was never worried about on the offense, because those guys have a higher basketball IQ as anyone that we've ever seen play the game. It's really been on the defensive side. Defensively, how active they are, the Lakers are, that was one thing I was worried about. Like, okay, what is it going to look like defensively? Because they don't have a lot of size. Yeah. But the way how active they are defensively, and then you combine that with the way it seems like Luka's finally got his